Donald Trump has just imposed a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico, effective immediately. The financial markets reacted with sheer panic, causing a massive sell-off on Wall Street and a crash in the crypto market. Within hours, global markets lost hundreds of billions of dollars in value. The Dow Jones dropped by 1.48%, the S&P 500 tumbled by 1.76%, and the Nasdaq took a severe hit, plunging by 2.64%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin crashed by 8%, sending shockwaves through the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. This isn't just a minor correction. This is a full-blown financial panic. The unpredictability of Trump's economic policies is fueling investor fears. Traders worry that this is only the beginning of a much larger economic crisis. The new tariffs shake confidence in the U.S. economy, raising concerns about inflation, slower growth, and even the potential for a recession. American consumers will be hit hard. Imported cars, smartphones, household appliances, and groceries will all become more expensive. Tariffs act as hidden taxes on the American people, driving up costs and squeezing household budgets. American farmers are set to suffer enormous losses. Canada and Mexico are two of the biggest buyers of U.S. agricultural products, and they are now retaliating with their own tariffs. If these export markets shrink, American farmers could face devastating financial consequences. Large corporations are also in serious trouble. Automakers, technology firms, and retailers heavily reliant on trade with Canada and Mexico will be forced to either raise prices or cut costs, both of which could lead to layoffs and factory shutdowns. Higher costs mean lower profit margins, which could result in unemployment surging. If businesses struggle to manage rising costs, hiring will slow down, and some may resort to workforce reductions. Manufacturing jobs will be among the hardest hit. In an astonishing moment, Trump dismissed concerns, telling struggling American farmers to cheer up. Instead of offering solutions, his response has only intensified the backlash against his policies. Canada and Mexico wasted no time retaliating. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau immediately announced countermeasures, slapping a 25% tariff on $155 billion worth of American exports, targeting key industries such as automobiles and agriculture. Mexico is also responding aggressively, vowing to impose mirror tariffs on U.S. imports. Additionally, Mexico is now exploring new trade agreements with China and the European Union, seeking to reduce dependence on American suppliers. If a full-scale trade war erupts, American companies could lose billions in revenue. Jobs will be lost, economic growth will stall, and the U.S. could lose its dominant position in North American trade. Canada and Mexico no longer need the U.S. as much as they once did. If they successfully establish stronger trade ties with China and Europe, the U.S. could permanently lose its influence in the region. Investors are growing increasingly uneasy. If Trump's policies continue to shake financial markets, global funds will flee the U.S., redirecting their capital to more stable economies. Supply chains are at risk. Many U.S. industries depend on materials from Canada and Mexico. Tariffs will increase production costs, leading to disruptions in manufacturing and a spike in consumer prices. Rising inflation is a growing concern. If costs soar too quickly, consumer spending will slow down, creating the perfect storm for an economic downturn. Economists are now warning of a looming recession. If businesses continue to struggle and inflation remains high, the U.S. could find itself facing an economic downturn far worse than expected. Canada is fighting back with a nationwide boycott of American goods and tourism. The strong trade relationship between the U.S. and Canada is now at risk, and public outrage is driving a massive shift in consumer behavior. Supermarkets across Canada are prioritizing Canadian-made products while pushing American goods to the back of shelves. The impact of this boycott could result in billions of dollars in losses for U.S. businesses. A sharp decline in Canadian tourism is already being reported. Travel agencies are witnessing an increase in canceled trips to the U.S. as Canadians opt for European and Asian destinations instead. Experts predict that if this boycott continues, U.S. tourism revenues could take a $2 billion hit, causing severe financial losses in states that depend heavily on Canadian visitors. In just 2 months, U.S. consumer goods exports to Canada have plummeted by 17%, with major American brands feeling the heat. Coca-Cola Canada reported a 15% revenue drop, and Ford saw sales decline by 12%. The Boycott USA movement is gaining traction across social media, fueling further economic tension between the two nations. The Canadian government is supporting this movement by implementing tax breaks for domestic manufacturers and promoting local businesses, further reducing reliance on U.S. imports. Canadian tourism to the U.S. has fallen by 25% in just 3 months. Airlines have canceled dozens of U.S.-bound flights, and hotel revenues in states like Florida and California have plummeted. Theme parks, shopping malls, and restaurants are feeling the pain as Canadian visitors disappear, dealing a significant blow to the U.S. economy. Trump's trade war has backfired. Instead of strengthening the U.S. economy, it has pushed Canada and Mexico toward economic independence, weakening America's position as a dominant trade force. Meanwhile, job losses in the U.S. are rising at an alarming rate. In January, unemployment claims surged to 242,000, far exceeding predictions and signaling deeper economic troubles. Major U.S. companies, including Domino's, Krispy Kreme, and Bed Bath & Beyond, have been forced to shut down locations to cut costs, reflecting the severity of the financial crisis. The real estate market is crumbling. Soaring mortgage rates have made homeownership unaffordable, leading to a sharp decline in home sales and rising rental prices. If foreclosures increase, banks may tighten credit, making mortgages even harder to obtain. A repeat of the 2008 financial crash is now a real possibility. Trump is using this economic turmoil to fuel his campaign fundraising, rather than focusing on real solutions for struggling Americans. While consumer confidence crumbles, Trump continues to distract the public with political rhetoric rather than addressing the economic crisis head-on. The rising cost of living is making everyday life more difficult for millions of Americans. Prices on essentials like groceries and gas continue to climb. Despite the growing crisis, Trump remains fixated on his political agenda rather than implementing policies to stabilize the economy. The question remains, can Trump turn this crisis around, or is America headed for an even greater economic collapse? What do you think about Trump's trade war and its consequences? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the latest economic developments. Thanks for watching.